What if GROVYLE was in Gen 1 7U? Now this is the video that I never thought I would make before What if Sceptile was in Gen 1 OU, but here we are. And honestly, this one might be more interesting, because I think GROVYLE would have a much bigger impact on 7U than Sceptile would have on OU. Not that Sceptile would be bad in OU, I'm actually not too sure how good he would do. And don't worry, I will make a video on that eventually. It's just that whenever I do starter videos now, I do all of them like in a marathon. So whenever I do Sceptile and OU, you'll also be seeing Blaze again and Swampert not far behind. But enough about that, let's talk about GROVYLE. And before we do that, just a quick TLDR for what 7U is. The alternative tiering system to Smogon is Pokemon Perfect. Pokemon Perfect has tiers going from 1U to 6U. 1U and 2U basically being identical to OU and UU for Smogon. But some fans have even made some tiers even lower. So the tier below 7U is, or 6U is 7U, yeah. And the best Pokemon is Meowth, and then some that are not too far behind would be Charmeleon and Golbat. So there's like some other Pokemon too, which you'll see pretty much most of them here. But hopefully that gives you like a good enough idea, I guess. I'm pretty sure on like 10U I probably have to explain what 7U is every single time. But that's besides the point. So what makes GROVYLE so good? Well, for starters, I think one of the main things that will make GROVYLE a huge threat is going to be his speed. Because the fastest Pokemon in here is Voltorb, which probably doesn't surprise anybody. But the second fastest is Pokemon like Meowth and Golbat. Some of the best Pokemon in the format who have a base speed of 90. So 95, I think sort of makes GROVYLE sort of like the Dragapult of this tier, which is really scary to think about. And that base 45 special isn't too bad either. In fact, for those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I usually always give Pokemon their signature moves. So yeah, GROVYLE gets Leaf Blade. And oh my gosh, that's gonna be a problem. Because part of the reason Meowth is so good is because he has a Sap Slash, which is, it does so much freaking damage. And like, not only is Leaf Blade just better because it can actually hit stuff super effectively, but because there's no physical special split, it's not just a grass type version of Slash. It's basically a Slash that's used on the special side, meaning that it doesn't have to compete with Meowth. In fact, the two of them do really good together. So what other moves would you give GROVYLE? He has some options, but not like a whole lot. He has Agility, which probably doesn't matter too much because you can't one-shot Voltorb with Leaf Blade anyways. Although it could be good if you want to use Agility to sort of negate any Thunder Waves you get hit by. Body Slam is probably your most consistent physical move that isn't maybe Double Edge. Although I feel like since GROVYLE is pretty frail, so maybe you go with Double Edge just because you are using a base 65 attack, so maybe that extra power is kind of nice. But also then again, the paralysis chance on Body Slam is also nice, so I guess it's just up to personal preference. Leaf Blade is a must-have, which I don't think you're really surprised by. Leech Seed is one of your more consistent answers too, which I know it's not the best, but Sceptile is pretty known for using sub-seed sets. It's not honorable, and to be honest, in Generation 1, where there's no leftovers, sub-seed might just be a very bad and not optimal way of using it at all. But against Pokemon that you can't really touch, like let's say Charmeleon or Golbat, it might be your best way of fighting them, but I'm not sure. Quick Attack is useless because you're the fastest thing anyways. You won't be able to get a lot of free turns with rest, so not really worth it. Seismic Toss could be used for some consistent damage. It's interesting. And maybe against any like Golbat, along with Leech Seed, it can actually help you combat Golbat. But I'm not sure. Like, considering how frail GROVYLE is, I just don't feel very... Like, I just don't really feel good with it. Although, you can definitely make it work. Substitute, I actually don't think it's that bad, unlike with some other Pokemon. But because of, like I said, with Subseed sets. Sword Stance is good, but it only has Body Slam and Double Edge where you take advantage of it with. So, for the replays, I used it. Although, you never really get a chance to really get it off. And even if you do get it off, Body Slam doesn't really one-shot stuff. So, actually now that I think about it, Seismic Toss might be better. And Thunder Punch, admittedly, could be used to take out Golbat real easily. But I just have a feeling that with Gen 1, he wouldn't actually get it. Like, so I didn't really bother giving him Thunder Punch for the replay. Although, it's there, so I guess you should give him that. So the Golbat matchup might be a little inaccurate. But, I don't know, it's Gen 1. They don't usually get a good coverage like this. Not to mention Thunder Punch, I'm pretty sure we're supposed to be an Electabuzz signature move. Though correct me if I'm wrong. He doesn't get Hyper Beam, and Mega Kick and Mega Punch are pretty useless. Mimic is interesting, considering you're faster than pretty much everything. So theoretically, if you were able to potentially mimic, let's say, a Meowth Slash, and you just have a guaranteed crit on both the physical and special side, that's interesting. Mega Drain is also, like for the most part, inferior that we've played. Although, if you do plan on not using it as a revenge killer, but just like using it to take any like a powerful threat against, like let's say your Rhyhorns or your maybe like your Psyducks or just anything that's weak to grass, using Mega Drain to regain some of your HP, it's an option. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a good option, but it's definitely there. And then Solar Beam is swifter here, but it's whatever. Okay, so I definitely think I messed up on doing the replays. So, but I guess it's kind of too late for that. So maybe Leech or Seismic Toss. No, I think I'll still go for Leech Seed over Seismic Toss. And then Thunder Punch is probably better. Or actually, considering you don't have Sword Stance, maybe Double Edge really is better here. Or actually, no. Okay, as you can see, I'm really not super set on the moveset. Maybe this is probably better than anything else. I think I was just really dumb when making the replays, but even then, he did very well. For the most part of the replays, it's mostly just GROVYLE spamming just Leaf Blade anyways, which I don't think surprises anybody. Speaking of the replays, let's actually get to those, shall we? Starting with the boy himself, we got Meowth. Both of you guys have guaranteed crits, so you're basically just two-shotting each other. However, GROVYLE was much faster, so obviously GROVYLE managed to win this pretty decisively. Although whatever comes out next can probably revenge kill GROVYLE, but GROVYLE is just gonna be like a late game cleaner anyways, so it's not too much of a weakness. And dear God, we always have to switch that. It looks ugly. But yeah, this is another reason why I kind of like Fire Spin. Or not Fire Spin, Leech Seed. Granted, it's not really going to save you against Charmeleon, but it is kind of nice being able to get some chip damage in. Not to mention, in an actual scenario, you would Leech Seed it. It would use Leech Seed, or not Leech Seed, Fire Blast. Okay, why do I keep messing up? I mean, Fire Spin. I am just not having it right now. It would use Leech Seed on Charmeleon. Charmeleon would use Fire Spin to sort of get a guaranteed KO with Fire Blast. But in reality, you would switch into something else right now. And even if it traps you with Fire Spin, you're still getting a little bit of HP back with Leech Seed. Why was that so hard to say? But also, something interesting is... Oh no, that was a crit with Body Swim, never mind. I was going to say, like, for a second I thought he got a crit with Leaf Blade. I was going to be like, wait, is Leaf Blade doing more damage, even resisted? And it probably does, in all honesty. Meanwhile, with Golbat, again, like, I probably should have just used Thunder Punch here. It probably would be able to take out Golbat really easily. But even then, Double Edge still really hurts. And Confuse Ray is just so annoying. Just so annoying here. So even I'm just gonna stick to it. I'm just gonna say that like the GROVYLE matchup would still be pretty bad, because even with Thunder Punch, I doubt it's a guaranteed KO without a crit. Confused Ray, especially in Gen 1, it's just gonna do everything it can just to annoy you. And then Double Edge and Hyper Beam still hits really hard. So yeah. And then meanwhile with Tentacool, like Leaf Blade is a guaranteed 2-hit KO, which is nice, but Blizzard also hits really hard. So this probably should be put in good matchup, just like how Meowth is. Although the difference between Meowth's Slash and Tentacool's Blizzard is that Tentacool has a chance to crit. And if that happens, yeah, your GROVYLE is kind of screwed. So that's why I'm leaning towards this one being more so, could go either way, rather than just being a good matchup for GROVYLE. Also, there's a freeze chance with Blizzard, like, you can never forget that. But at least with Hitmonchan, it's a pretty good matchup. I'm not sure they would actually go for submission. Like, probably Body Slam. I don't think they would go for Ice Punch. Because yes, Ice Punch is super effective. But keep in mind, Hitmonchan has this Ice Punch and a special of 35. While GROVYLE will be from anywhere from 65 to 85. Most likely just an 85 special. So, I'm imagining Body Slam and definitely Submission would do more damage if you were to actually calc it. Now here's a hot take. Even though Voltorb can't really hurt GROVYLE, I actually think that Voltorb would be a bad matchup. Because Voltorb is faster, it can just paralyze GROVYLE. And GROVYLE really doesn't like being paralyzed. Because yes, it hits really hard, but it can also get hit really hard itself. So kind of paralyzing it I think it just kind of kills it. Just like it can no longer work effectively as a sweeper. It can very easily get revenge killed. So yeah, like you can disagree with me if you want, but I think that alone, I think just even if you're just paralyzing the GROVYLE and then actually no, because like I said before, Leaf Blade can't kill Voltorb at full HP. So Voltorb paralyzing it, just going for an explosion, yeah, it might even be unwinnable. Who knows? And against Clefairy, it's sort of the same, where Thunder Wave just completely kills you. But unlike Voltorb, it can actually damage you with Blizzard. So the matchup might be even worse. Or I'm not sure you could put it in bad though, because Clefairy is a very useful utility Pokemon. So just having it just get 2-shot by GROVYLE probably is kind of wasting it. Or you can argue it as being like a good trade, I guess you can say. You take out Clefairy, which you have a mostly useless GROVYLE, but at the very least, we still have to worry about Clefairy like spamming like both Sweep and Paralysis. But I'm not really sure. And then against Beedrill, this one's very dangerous because both of you can set up and really threaten each other. But Beedrill needs to set up a little bit more, otherwise GROVYLE just outspeeds and kills. And it might need Twin Needle exactly in order to threaten to kill GROVYLE. I'm not exactly sure how much Hyper Beam would have done with just a Sword Stance. I'm imagining not enough, but still really dangerous. So could go either way. Kind of surprising considering GROVYLE is a Grass type and Beedrill is a Poison Bug type. But yeah, this is how it works sometimes, especially when you're Beedrill. And then against Ivysaur. Now this replay, GROVYLE got incredibly lucky, but this is not the norm. Absolutely not. This replay is 100% a best case scenario for GROVYLE, where Ivysaur misses a lot of Sweet Powders. But since that happened, I just wanted to see how much Razor Leaf and Body Slam really did. And yeah, with just a Body Slam and Sword Stance boost, Ivysaur can definitely kill GROVYLE once it gets put to sleep. So don't let this replay like fool you. It's a bad matchup. And even though Ivysaur wishes it had a Leaf Blade so badly, it just doesn't. But Sword Stance Body Slam is more than enough to kill GROVYLE. So, but at the very least, if you couldn't tell already, GROVYLE might not have Sleep, but it's definitely the better Grass type in 7U. And then against Nidorino, Blizzard hits really hard. And this is probably a best case scenario for GROVYLE, where it misses a Blizzard, maybe even 2, gets a Sword Stance boosted Body Slam off. But even here, it still lost to GROVYLE, or not the GROVYLE, the Nidorino. So I honestly think this is probably an unwinnable matchup. Unless Blizzard isn't a must include on Nidorino. But I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Because better Bolt Beam coverage sounds too good to just pass up. And then Farfetch'd, it's like Meowth, but the flying type it gives it a grass resistance. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this match might just be unwinnable. Which is unfortunate, really unfortunate. Although, because of it, it might be able to... Oh, let's see here, Charmeleon, Farfetch'd, Nidorino, Ivysaur. I'm trying to debate if there's enough good matchups, or good matchups against GROVYLE, to where it would be actually fine in 7U. I'm not sure. We got one last replay, and it's Grimer versus GROVYLE. Because, I'll be honest, I did not bother with any of the rock type, ground types, or water types that aren't tentacle, because we all know how that would have gone. With Leaf Blade, GROVYLE pretty much just deletes them. But this matchup I thought was interesting. The fact that both Fire Blast and Leaf Blade were 3-hit KOs on each other, but since GROVYLE is faster and actually managed to win, definitely not what I would have expected. But it's not exactly, I guess by all intents and purposes, it could go either way. But in reality, since Fire Blast has a 30% chance to burn, it's probably in Grimer's favor. I think GROVYLE just got lucky here. Now, on for the tier list. And the matchups. Here's the list. And it's obviously really good. It doesn't look as good as Punkaboost from yesterday's video. And that's mostly because the only things in great matchups are just Pokemon that just serve deletes, while the only good one is one where it takes a lot of damage. But despite that, however, I'm actually going to lean towards GROVYLE would be banned from 7U, 6U, maybe even higher in 5U, because I think it's just too fast and hits too hard for the metagame. Because it would just be like the strongest revenge killer in the world, and there's not really anything you can really do to it, especially if most of your team's paralyzed or is taking damage from Meowth or some other Pokemon. And that's the other thing, even if GROVYLE goes down, you still have Meowth, and like I said earlier in the video, Meowth has a guaranteed physical crit, and GROVYLE would have a guaranteed special crit. So those two together, it would just too much damage. The metagame wouldn't be able to handle it. So I think GROVYLE would be too busted for 7U. What do you think? Do you think that GROVYLE would actually be fine? Do you think that it would actually get banned? Because you do have... Also, I forgot to put Nidorino in unwinnable. But let me know what you think. And also, just a reminder that due to the events of the whole Punkaboo saga, Caterpie is dead, as well as most of the Pokemon in Gen 1 OU, as well as all of Gen 1 Ubers. And the only way to bring them back is by subscribing to the channel. Once the channel gets to 500 subscribers, Caterpie will be live from the dead, and when that happens, everyone else will come back as well. And trust me, I do have something special planned for when we do that. But that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching. This is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.